Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping into a Fox News piece today, and honestly, it's fascinating.
Oh, yeah. What's it covering?
It's looking at Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, all their recent public appearances.
Right, the PDA stuff.
Exactly. And how that might play out with this whole legal situation involving Justin Baldoni.
Ah, okay, so the PR angle.
Precisely.
No.
The article brings in PR and relationship experts, and the big question is, well, can all this seemingly good PR, this happy couple image, actually backfire when lawyers get involved?
Interesting. Okay, so let's break it down. What are these appearances we're talking about?
Well, it's been quite a few packed into just 1 week, apparently.
Oh, really? Like what?
They were at the screening for Another Simple Favor, then a Wrexham soccer game, Ryan's team,
Right.
and also the Time 100 Gala. And at all three, the reports mention them being very, very close. Lots of affection.
Okay, so definitely putting on a united front. It paints that picture, the perfect it couple.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And you have to assume that's, well, somewhat deliberate. Projecting normalcy, maybe.
Seems likely. But is that the right move now? What do the experts say?
Well, that's where it gets complicated. Kar Schmeiman, she's from Red Banyan PR. She flags this strategy. She calls it flooding the market with appearances.
Flooding the market, okay.
And she suggests, in crisis communication terms, that might be ill-advised.
Why is that? Usually you want to control the narrative, right?
True, but her point is that sometimes you need to let the heat die down, give things
Right.
time.
Ah, okay. Let the story fade a bit.
Yeah, exactly. But by being so visible, Schmeiman argues they're kind of preventing that. The public needs space, maybe a reason to forget or forgive.
And instead, they're constantly reminded. She actually said they seem to be fanning the flames.
Yeah, that was her phrase. Fanning the flames keeps the whole situation front and center.
And there's a risk there, isn't there? Appearing, maybe, out of touch.
She mentions that too, the risk of seeming self-important, like look how great we are, while this serious legal thing is bubbling underneath.
So what does she recommend? Less is more.
Pretty much. Be more strategic, pick their moments, allow for some quiet time, let things breathe.
Right, which is standard advice in a lot of crisis PR, isn't it? Don't overexpose when you're under scrutiny.
It often is, yeah. And this links into what the relationship expert Nicole Moore was saying.
Okay, how so?
Moore acknowledges that, yeah, if all you saw were these red carpet photos, the hand-holding,
It would help their image reinforce the power couple idea.
totally. But the problem, she points out, is that's not all we see anymore.
Ah, you mean social media? Online chatter?
Exactly that. It's not just curated photos. More specifically mentions online speculation, like, remember that TikTok video?
Which one? There's always something.
The one where a lip reader claimed Blake Lively ordered Ryan Reynolds to kiss her at the Time 100 Gala.
Oh, right. Yeah, I saw headlines about that. Whether it's true or not.
It doesn't even matter if it's true. That kind of stuff plants seeds of doubt, as Moore puts it. It creates mistrust about how genuine the relationship really is.
And that undermines the whole happy couple PR push.
Precisely. Moore's point is crucial. A lot of the public opinion on this Baldoni lawsuit is being shaped outside traditional media.
On TikTok, on Twitter, and comment sections.
Yep. And she thinks right now that's actually working against Lively and Reynolds.
So what about Baldoni in all this? We don't see much of him, do we?
And according to Moore, that's exactly the right play for him.
Staying quiet.
Relatively, yeah. He's keeping a low profile, avoiding the spotlight. Moore suggests that's strategic.
Minimizing the chance of saying or doing the wrong thing publicly.
That seems to be the idea.
Yeah.
Less exposure means less risk of a misstep that could hurt his image or, his case.
And she thinks he has public goodwill right now.
Apparently so. She feels he's sort of being seen as, well, she uses the phrase defending back.
Rather than seeking attention.
Right. Not proactively trying to look good, just responding. And this creates a narrative, doesn't it?
Kind of like the underdog.
Yes, the little guy against the established Hollywood giants. That often plays well with the public. People tend to root for that narrative.
That David and Goliath dynamic. Okay, I see that.
And then there's another PR expert, Doug Eldridge from Achilles PR. He brings up Blake Lively's Time 100 speech.
What about it?
Specifically, the timing of her sharing that very personal story about her mother being attacked.
Okay. It was a powerful moment, wasn't it?
It was, but Eldridge questions why then. He suggests maybe sharing something like that. Maybe you would have felt more, organic during the press for It Ends With Us.
Because of the movie's themes. Domestic abuse.
Exactly. He thinks it might have landed with more authenticity there connected to the work.
So doing it at the gala,
Mhm.
what's his take on that timing?
He frames it as potentially a thinly veiled attempt at garnering public sympathy.
Ooh, that's quite cynical.
It is. Trying to maybe reposition herself as a victim amidst the legal stuff. It really shows how every single move gets dissected, right?
Absolutely. If that was the intention, like Eldridge suggests, other PR folks like Schmeiman would probably say that's risky too. The public can often sniff out perceived manipulation.
Could definitely backfire if it feels inauthentic.
And Eldridge thinks Baldoni's strategy, conversely, has been, what was the word?
Flawless. From an optics perspective,
Yeah.
especially how he responded quite measuredly after the initial accusations came out.
Interesting. So a real contrast in approaches here.
Definitely. Oh, and the article also touches on Hugh Jackman.
Wolverine, what's his connection?
Well, he's obviously very close friends with Ryan Reynolds.
Right, the faux feud online. They're always joking around.
Yeah. So Jackman posted on Instagram showing support, expressing love for Blake and Ryan, calling them practically family.
Okay, so a friend supporting friends. Seems normal.
It does. But Nicole Moore, the relationship expert, again, adds a layer to that.
Ooh, what's the angle there?
She basically suggests that in Hollywood, associating yourself with someone, it's always partly a brand calculation.
Huh. So Jackman posting support means he probably figures it won't hurt his image right now.
That seems to be Moore's reading. But she also floats the idea that, things go south for Lively and Reynolds in a lawsuit.
If public opinion really turns against them.
Jackman might quietly, distance himself.
Yeah.
To protect his own brand. It just highlights how interconnected everything is in that world. Image is currency.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense, unfortunately. It all comes back to
It
perception.
really does. We keep circling back to this core tension, don't we? Trying to look happy and perfect in public.
While dealing with this potentially messy legal battle privately.
And social media just throws gasoline on that fire. The polished red carpet shot isn't the whole story anymore.
Not even close. It's the TikTok interpretations, the comment threads, the speculation that's shaping things just as much, if not more.
And it feels like it's maybe harder for celebs to control that narrative, especially when something serious like a lawsuit is involved.
Yeah, it's a much wilder landscape than old school PR.
Right.
So, connecting the dots. The experts seem to feel this particular strategy, the constant happy couple display.
Might not be landing right. Could seem maybe tone deaf or, like Eldridge hinted, even calculated given the context.
Seems to be the consensus, yeah. It's such a tricky balancing act, public persona versus private reality.
It really gives you pause. You think about these moments, we see a look, a touch at an event.
And how they can mean totally different things depending on what you already know or what you think you know from like a random online clip.
Absolutely. And where we get our info from, is it a news report or is it just chatter online? It all filters how we see these public figures.
So the question this deep dive leaves you with, I guess, is about that whole relationship between celebrity, how we perceive them, and these very real, very private legal fights. How does one affect the other in this digital age?
It's definitely something to chew on. Thanks for digging into this with us.